All right, guys, here we go. Oh, let me get myself ready here. Now I'm in the NBC studios here. I can hear you now. Awesome. Let me get my comments up here, ready to rumble. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Awesome. We're about ready to get this thing going in a couple minutes. This is number 34 for me. Of our infusion fasts. There we go. Good to go. Well, welcome, guys. We're going at it with regards to our 34th infusion fast. For some of you guys, it might just be your first, and welcome. And oh my goodness, we've got guys that are 24 hours, 48 hours. We've got a few that are going 72 with me. That's what I'm trying to break my new record, which hopefully will be after 68 hours. That's what I'm going for right now. And we got one guy going 99 hours in infusion fasting. So we'll get this rolling in about 60 seconds. Welcome. Guys, drink a lot of water during your infusion fast. These bottles, be careful. They can be full of dioxin. One thing that I will warn you about, never freeze them. Try to keep them out of extreme heat. However, they are convenient. And I talk to people about this all the time. My wife is always saying, listen, there's so many chemicals in our environment. How can we keep away from them? And I tell her, sweetie, we can't. The best thing we can do is learn how to clean up after we mess up. There's so many estrogenics. There's so many plastics. So do your best, but you're on a program that if you're willing to make it part of your vital behavior, you're going to find that you are ahead of the game. You're able to live in a toxic world without the toxic manifestation. Well, toxic manifestations, unfortunately, are cognitive suppression, dementia, bowel disorders. The skin ages very rapidly in toxic areas and toxic events. And unfortunately, one of the most common toxic manifestations is cancer. So, welcome everybody. Let's get this going. First thing first, we are going to answer some questions today, and we're going to focus on cravings. Cravings are incredibly important. They're our body's message to us, and we can use what the body is telling us to modify our infusion fast for maximum results. So we'll talk about that today. But before that, I want to shout out to somebody. Sent me a message. Since the first bottle of AM Blend, I have not had another arrhythmia. Woo-hoo! Congratulations. I love the weight loss this program causes. But what I love even more are these manifestations, these miraculous manifestations of people healing crucial systems in their body. An arrhythmia that can lead to stroke, that can lead to heart attack, that has been now associated with dementia. An arrhythmia, both the heart and the brain have an electrical neural net. And a arrhythmia in the brain, we call that a seizure. But when it happens to the heart, it's scary. It actually causes the heart to skip beat. It can cause extreme fatigue. It can lead to massive problems with regards to stroke, clot, and heart attack, and unfortunately, even sudden death. So this young lady, I'm reading her testimonial here. She's actually not even in infusion fast. She is just simply drinking one of our formulas, in this case, the AM Blend. And what's really exciting about that is you don't have to be perfect to be protected. Both the AM Blend and the PM Blend have citrulline malate within them. Citrulline malate at a 2-to-1 ratio dramatically increases nitric oxide levels. Nitric oxide in the blood opens the arteries, opens the capillary beds into the brain, into the heart, into the musculature, and even into the gonadal tissues. Why is this important? Well, as we age, nitric oxide levels plummet. This is why even healthy people with good cholesterol levels, good triglyceride levels, can have a stroke, a heart attack, or a blood clot because of lower levels of nitric oxide. Well, it happens when we're aging, especially in this fallen and toxic world. So the blends, both of them, the PM and the AM blend, have the citrulline malate in it that really enhances the body's ability to create and release this nitric oxide. So that's a huge benefit. Now, what I would tell this young lady, join us in an infusion fast. You see, when you're using the AM blend or the PM blend, without food in the way, you think your heart is doing better now. She eliminated an arrhythmia within 1 cup of the AM blend. Try it without food in the way and see what it does for your heart, your blood pressure, your cognitive processing, your musculature. Also within the AM blend, there's something called taurine. And taurine stabilizes the neural net around the heart, the neural net around the brain, greatly reducing the chance of destabilizations, seizures, arrhythmias, and such. So it is great to hear from you on that. Please let us know your manifestations, these miraculous manifestations. We love to hear about it. So let's get into this. We're talking here about cravings. I'm starving literally minutes into my infusion fast. What is that all about? Oh boy, that's a tough one. That happened to me a few weeks back when I chose to have a lunch that had a higher glycemic index. I believe it was like 6 or 7 oatmeal cookies. Didn't work out very well for me. Here's why. Ghrelin. This is a substrate that is released from pancreatic cells. It is released from stomach cells. Ghrelin can really ramp up the appetite centers and really induce hunger. This is stimulated for many different reasons. But one of the reasons is a blood sugar swing. Remember what we define blood sugar swings as: anything greater or lesser than 10 points. So we can have a blood sugar spike or a drop. And this is really going to provoke that appetite center. We don't want that happening. We want to really learn how to stabilize that. So how do you stabilize something like that? Here's what I would tell you. This can be dramatically suppressed. This effect can be dramatically suppressed by your coffee collagen. Well, why? Well, the coffee collagen has a fibrous protein, not just a protein, a fibrous protein in it. And this suppresses the cell's ability to release ghrelin into your system, and thus you suppress appetite. This is awesome. This is an awesome power to have as your infusion fasting. But remember what's also in your coffee collagen. You're creating this drink. You're putting Saigon cinnamon in. What is Saigon cinnamon used for? It stabilizes blood sugars. Okay, that allows us to reduce the appetite effect. We're also putting the red Korean ginseng into the system as well. This is tremendous at stabilizing blood sugars. These are a couple of the things that we use that we call insulin mimics, and they're working wonderfully. So if you really are finding that you're starving, even just a few hours into your infusion fast, get that coffee collagen, put the red Korean ginseng, remember this stuff, the red Korean ginseng in, and you're also going to be putting in your Saigon cinnamon, obviously 2 scoops of your coffee collagen. I put a little oat milk in there, and away I go, blend it up, and you will find tremendous suppression of the appetite centers just by doing that. But don't forget your plan Bs. You can use a fibrous fat. So we did the fibrous protein, which is from a marine-based collagen, but we're also using fibrous fats. Remember, in your launch lunch, you should take a couple ounces of maybe a sunflower seed, or maybe a skinned pumpkin seed. These things will really, really help introduce the carbohydrates into your system slowly so we don't have that massive influx of blood sugar. If we don't have that spike in blood sugar, we're not hungry. Is this making sense to you guys? All right. Now, you also have your plan B. Okay, this is when things get really crazy. If you get really, really hungry, you can even consider using a sublingual nicotine. We recommend somewhere between a 2 milligram and a 4 milligram dose under your tongue. But this should be used only deep into your infusion fast. If you start getting hungry right now, I started my infusion fast a little early. I've had people ask me, Tom, do I have to start infusion fasting with you at 2 p.m.? Well, there's a reason I want you to start at 2 p.m. because you're going to finish at 2 p.m. Why do I want you to finish at 2 p.m.? What's going to happen 24, 48, 72, or 96 hours from now? I want you to have that big meal. We call it the murder meal, all right? But the timing of that meal is crucial. So we want you to have that meal somewhere between 1 and 3 p.m. I like 2 p.m. because it's right in the middle. But I had to drop off my third daughter today. She is in extreme tumbling, and I'm going to go pick her up in just a few minutes. So I had to drop her off, so I had my lunch at 1 p.m. So I'm starting a little bit early. But I'll finish this process hopefully between 1 and 3. And this is done specifically to avoid high levels of cortisol. My cortisol levels are the highest in the beginning of my day and at the end of my day. Horrible time to introduce my murder meal. I don't care what I'm doing. Yes, I'm drinking my AM blend. Yes, I can put a little more L-glutamine into it during my murder meal. Yes, I can take my sunflower seeds in. This can help me stabilize my blood sugars as I'm consuming this large meal. But it's still in the middle. If I'm eating that too early or too late, it's still where my cortisol levels are spiking. We don't want insulin and cortisol to mix because they come together, lipogenesis, fat production. They also come together, and there's a tendency for the tumor tissue in my body and in your body to be fed when those two hormones are elevated. When are they elevated? Well, cortisol is high in the morning, and also when we're stressing at night. Oh boy, when we want to stress eat, worst time to do it is probably between 7:30 and 9:30 at night. So that's the timing. But I'll give you a little bit of flexibility. 1 to 3. Try to start that lunch somewhere there and try to finish at the same time in their circadian patterns. I hope that helps and answers that. I'm craving cheese fries and pizza big time. Woo-hoo! What a wonderful thing to crave. Cravings tell you where your Achilles heel is. This person here, the cheese fries and pizza, fat and salt scream adrenal glands. Yeah, the adrenal glands, which are right above your kidneys, are stressed and damaged in most of you. So if you're craving salts and fats, this suggests that your adrenal glands need some care. We need to focus on them. So what are we going to do? Well, if you're craving fatty or salty foods, or my favorite, chocolate, if you're craving one of these three things or all of them together, like myself, focus on this. During your infusion fast, I want you to double your red Korean ginseng. So instead of 1 pack in your coffee collagen, 2 packs. Okay? And you're going to do that for the next 30 days. And this is going to enhance your adrenal function. It'll help you with your adrenaline. It'll help you with epinephrine. It'll help you with your neuroepinephrine. Okay. It'll also help with your cortisol level. Right. This is very important to get that gland or the adrenal gland healthy again. But when you talk about adrenals, you have to talk about mama. Who's mama? Well, you know that's what I call the brain. Our brains are perceiving threat, especially in this society. And when we're perceiving threat, our adrenal glands are being stimulated for the fight or flight. That's why we get so worn out. And when the adrenals are worn, we crave fat, salt, chocolates. So another thing that I would recommend you do during your infusion fast is to your brain tea add 500 milligrams of GABA. Okay? Why? Because GABA not only increases the hippocampus density, which is your memory cells, and yes, you have GABA in your PM blend, but some of you are under constant threat, almost like what we see with post-traumatic syndromes. And the brain burns through GABA when it's perceiving threat. So what we're going to do is increase your brain tea. Just open a capsule, 500 milligrams of GABA, into your cup of brain tea. So you're doubling up on your red Korean, ginseng, and you're increasing your GABA levels in your brain tea. If you find that your murder meal tends to be pizza, salted foods, and those kind of things. So keep that in mind. So your salt and fat cravings. Now, some of you are like me, you also have sugar cravings. Sugar cravings are a real thing. And if you just want to down, a dozen donuts, my record is 3 dozen Boston creams. Whew, I'm glad I've been delivered from that stronghold. But what that means is, again, sugar is a stimulant. It really is. And again, the fight or flight affecting the adrenal glands. But a sugar craving really suggests massive diminished GABA levels in the brain. So focus on that brain. Those that are craving sugar, consider adding an additional teaspoon of L-glutamine to your big pink drink during an infusion fast. Consider increasing your GABA levels just like our salt people did in their brain tea, but you might even need to put an additional dose of GABA into your big pink drink. Consider that. But these are things that your body is saying, listen, my brain is fried. My adrenal glands are fried. It's giving you cravings to help, not with exogenously endeavoring in aggressive binge eating, which unfortunately is the side effect of those things, but rather it needs to be balanced. Its neurochemistry needs to be balanced, just like a pool, just like a healthy system that's trying to really reach homeostasis or balance. So realize GABA in the brain, very low levels when you're craving that sugar. All right. So just to repeat that quickly, salt and fatty cravings, focus on doubling up on your red Korean and also adding an additional dose of GABA. For our sugar cravers, consider a teaspoon additional of L-glutamine into your big pink drink during an infusion fast, and consider adding 500 milligrams of GABA into your big pink drink, as well as 500 milligrams into your brain tea at night. I hope that helps, guys, with the cravings. Why is 48-hour infusion fast easier than 24 hours? Well, that's a great question. I've noticed that myself. And here's why. 2 things. Metabolic memory and metabolic momentum. Metabolic memory. Remember mama? She's remembering what you did 24 hours ago as it is defined or regarding what you consumed. So many of us had gotten into this pattern. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Our bodies were never created for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Our bodies were created for prolonged periods without food, and then a period where we have access to food, and then prolonged periods with no food. You see where the breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks is destroying us? We need to break free of that, and infusion fasting will do that. So instead of thinking breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, start thinking this way. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Reduce. Reduce the toxins. Enhance the bone density, the brain mass, the musculature. And then Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Reload. Swell it back up. What are we trying to do? Remember, we're trying to increase bone mass, increase muscle mass by causing that cellular swell. So, again, the memory, 24 hours into this thing, the next day in a 48-hour infusion fast, what is your brain remembering? It's remembering the first 24 hours where you had your coffee collagen, where you had your red Korean ginseng, where you had your big pink drink, where you had your brain tea. And all of a sudden, oh, I'm not so hungry, am I? I'm actually looking forward to consuming these enhancing. These substances augment your cognitive processes. Your skin is augmenting. Your musculature is augmented without exercise. That's exciting stuff, guys. Yes, cool. Young lady doesn't have arrhythmias anymore. Yes, cool. Big man dropped 880 on his triglycerides down to 75. Cool stuff. That's cleansing. That's what we want to see. Metabolic momentum. As you get into the infusion fast, each time you do it, you're developing a flywheel phenomena. That flywheel phenomena, you get something going, it keeps going and going and going. Even when you're reloading, some of you are still losing body fat. That is metabolic momentum. And the longer you go into infusion fast, the deeper the cleansing, the deeper the healing, but the stronger your metabolic momentum. You're not left with this frail body after dieting and losing 100 pounds. You are manifesting augmented tissue, thicker and stronger bones that don't break when you fall. And we're seeing that with our clients. But remember, as a bone thickens, that bone has a genesis chamber inside of it that is creating stem cells for you. And as you get older, do you think you're creating more stem cells? No, you're not, unless you are learning to augment and enhance your skeletal system. Okay, ladies, so when well, I'm only down a few pounds, recall that your skeleton is doubling bone mass. Recall your muscularity, your tendons, and even your brain are becoming heavier and denser. So don't necessarily focus on weight loss. I want you to focus on manifesting a stronger mental and metabolic body so it serves you well. And this allows you to be you for longer periods of time and me to be me. And you'll understand that when you start hitting your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe even 100, maybe even beyond. But you don't want to be this frail, drug-filled creature who is stuck in a nursing home. No, you don't. You want to be a pillar of the community. You want to be a person who serves. The secret to life isn't about you. It's about them and who you serve. And how can you serve when you are broken down and feeble? So our goal is infusion fast. Yes, we want to see those abs. Yes, we want to see arrhythmias going away, but we want that energy back so we can serve again and again and again. So that flywheel phenomena. This is why a 48-hour fast is easier than a 24. And wait till you see what happens at 72. Why are so many people dropping all this weight and I'm not? Boy, do I get that one a lot. Okay, well, here's the deal. Focus on clean before lean. And what I mean by that is there's a kid that just started infusion fast with us, and he knocked out 8 pounds like within hours. All right, and people got mad. What happened? Why didn't that happen to me? This young man had already been using formula. He is a old metabolic boot camper. Now, had he put his weight back on? Yes, but he still was clean in his arteries, clean in his liver, clean in his kidneys and brain function, right? So yeah, we can be heavy and healthy by using formula. But when he went into infusion fast, he said, I got to get this weight off, doc. He went right into the fat burning process. It standardly takes about 30 hours to clean your liver. And that's crucial, guys. This program is all focused. Your initial 30 hours is cleaning all that filth out of the liver. And once that liver has been cleansed, then and only then do you start to defat the body. So, ladies, one, let's get that liver cleansed. If you're doing a 24-hour fast, what we have found, it takes about 6 24-hour fasts to get you ready to start frying midline body fat. And this is when you are ready to jump to 48. So give it time. Yes, you'll see the skin changes. Yes, the brain functions much quicker. Yes, if you took blood after one infusion fast 24 hour, you'd be blown away by how quickly your cholesterol and triglyceride levels and all those things that the liver is processing is handling for you at a much higher rate. But, whew, you get into that 30-hour mark, that's where you start tapping in to the deep body fat. Now remember what's in that deep body fat. That's where all the toxins are, guys. That's where it is. So it starts to release out. With the young man that had gone through our metabolic boot camp, yes, he was heavier, but he was still healthy because he had been using AM blend or PM blends and the pro collagens. I know the young man personally. And what I'm getting at was, even though he was heavy, he was still healthy. So when he got into infusion fast, just watch what he does. He's going to knock off 8 pounds probably each one of these 48-hour cycles. But remember, he had already cleaned up his act in metabolic boot camp. So if you're new with us, don't fret about it. Get that body cleaned. What took this young man 8 to 16 weeks to clean, you're doing in hours. So try it. 24 hours. Do about 6 of those. Then get ready to jump to 48. It takes about 3 48-hour fasts to get ready to go to 72. Why do you do it so much faster? Because you're already cleaner. Each cycle, you're getting cleaner. You'll see it in the porcelain skin. You'll see it in the dementia dots coming off the back of the hands. And then you'll start to see that body fat come off in that midline after about 30 hours of fasting. But give yourself time. This isn't just about looking great in a Speedo. I got it. That's how I mow my lawn in a Speedo. I got you. I want to look good too. But wow, what has happened to my liver function, my brain function, and my skin? My father died from skin cancer. Skin is not one of my strong points, and my skin is getting thicker. The lipofuscin spots are going away. And I'm even seeing changes in my hair, my bone density, my muscularity. My dentist is blown away by what's going on with the gums and the enamel. So we're excited about that. So keep that in mind. We want to focus on getting clean before we get lean. Now I've got a homework assignment for you. At 2:35 on your Infusion Fast site. So join us in the Infusion Fast crew. If you are not, ask for an invite to our Infusion Fast, our private group. But there is a homework assignment for you there. There is a video that I want you to watch, and it is labeled Weight and Heart Rate. It is what the scales are trying to tell you. It is what your heart rate is trying to tell you. I need you to become an expert at how your body is speaking to your psyche. That is crucial For your body is never wrong. Your psyche, half the stuff in this head, guys, is wrong. Whether it was taught to me by parents, by culture, by my own autodidactic self, I have assimilated misinformation. And this misinformation, when I rely on it, causes rotted fruit to manifest. Okay. So we don't know what half of our knowledge is wrong. So we need to prune that out. But your body will never lie to you. So watch that video. That's your homework assignment. And then you finish off strong. You guys are ready for this infusion fast? I can't wait to see what happens. So I'll put that post up for you guys. Link on that and watch that video. I can't wait to see your results. Let me look at this real quickly. Hello, a couple questions. Did my first one last week, 72 hours. Did well, but now having crazy hot flashes. Woo! Madame, you went into this, you're one of our newbies, and you jumped into a 72 hour. That means you began to defat your liver, you began to defat ovaries, you began to take away a lot of that fat. When you began to mobilize that, what did it release? Well, you just said hot flashes, right? What does the body tell you when you're having hot flashes? You're releasing a toxin. What type of toxin? Estrogen, that's right. Estrogen toxins. So, what do we need to do when we're releasing estrogen toxins? One, make sure when you're fasting that aggressively, you are drinking plenty of water. So, if you weigh 150 pounds, then cut that number in half, and you need to be drinking at least 75 ounces of water. Crucial for you, okay? That is very, very important. You are releasing large amounts of estrogenic toxins. Number two, make sure your NAC, your molybdenum, your selenium is in you. You might even need to increase from 2 capsules at lunch and 2 capsules at breakfast to 4 and 4 if you're planning to go that deep. But it also suggests that you're dealing with an estrogen toxicity. So young lady, take your time with that. Please. That is a very crucial thing for you to do for your future health. But at the same time, listen to your body. Really ramp up your NAC, molybdenum, selenium. Drink large amounts of water as well. It's interesting with regards to constipation with this process. Here's what should happen. When you consume your murder meal, you should release your bowel within 15 minutes. It's called the bowel release phenomena. Now, many people initially with their infusion fasting are locked up. They're called accumulators. And we'll talk about that at a later date. But there's something called smooth move tea that you can use. Also study something called Casara Sangrada. All right, but during an infusion fast, you will eventually have a massive bowel release. This is where deep pocketed fecal material that could be as much as 10 years old will release itself. And you talk about being released from a poison prison. Many of you are carrying around fecal material that could be as much as a decade old. So keep going with this process. You should notice a couple more cycles that your system, your digestive tract, which by the way, from oral down to rectal, could be as much as 30 feet long. You are repairing every inch of it, and it will begin to function at a higher and higher level for you. Oh, awesome. Glad you are joining us. Julie, oh, I love seeing you guys. Hey, listen, there is a link between constipation, hot flashes, and sleep disruption, isn't there? Don't forget where most of your serotonin is produced, in your gut. Okay? Why am I talking about serotonin? Serotonin methylated becomes melatonin. It's crucial for deep sleep patterns. Well, if it's being produced in your gut and your gut is locked down because you're an accumulator, are you seeing where I'm going with this? You're going to have disrupted sleep. This is very, very common for people who are dealing with low serotonin levels and estrogen instabilities. Did I just talk to about 100 of you ladies? Yes, possibly. But don't worry. This process is going to regulate the hormones, defat the ovaries, okay, if you still have them, and start that digestive undulation where you will birth that toxic fecal fiend, and it will come out of you. It will literally fill your toilet. It will look like a deer was hit in your bathroom. It will be that bad. But after that, and we've seen that after about 72-hour fasts, that somewhere between 6 and 8 of those, and reestablishment of proper bowel function after that means much lower rates of dementia because you're going to get to deep levels of sleep. Guys, I got to run and pick up my daughter because I don't want to leave her waiting. Oh my, if you've ever met her mama, these are Amazons. You do not want to get on their bad side. But the post will be released right after I finish this. I want to just thank you guys. I want to pray us out. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for desiring to give and offer up a holy and living sacrifice. We realize that past choices, the toxins are still within us. We just asked for them to be purified and cleansed. In Christ's name, amen. Last thing, I see people desiring peace, but I find that I can't reach peace. I can't get there from where I am, but I can desire purity, watching what I put into my eyes on these screens, watching what I'm putting into my mouth with regards to honoring my body and listening to it. And as I seek purity, I find peace. God bless you.